the luxury tourism aspect. I
Hmm.
felt very taken care of. I felt very safe, and secure. And of course, these are the things that a lot of people have concerns about. But I want to ask you, what makes South Africa a premier luxurious travel destination? And then how do you create those experiences that are unique for African Americans? And so much so that they keep coming back or that they don't want to leave.
I know.
Uh, So, what I think, when it comes to making South Africa so luxurious and so attractive, is the fact that it does have a lot of creature comforts that we're used to as Americans. It has a very vibrant culture, very robust lifestyles. It has infrastructure that can rival some of the best first world countries. And those things are inviting enough by itself. But then you mix all of that with the people of South Africa, which to me is their biggest asset. So you mix all of that together, you put them in places where they can see other people, in spaces where there's like Black excellence, whether in all the five-star hotels, you're going to see movers and shakers in the country that are going to be right there for you to have access to. So those things combined open South Africa up, opens your mind up to have you say, this is something I should really consider, because everything that I'm looking for is actually already here. I just need to insert myself. So by tourism, we put you in that space. And then from there, you can start thinking of how you can do it yourself. I mean, you're a prime example. We put you in spaces. You saw the gaps, you saw what could be done, and you did that for yourself. So that's kind of the main thing that South Africa offers to me, and why we share it the way we share it.
Yeah. Oh, and let me add this to it as well. And with us, we could try to do this from the U.S. We could be in Atlanta, we can be in D.C. metropolitan area, L.A., Dallas, and Houston. All these great, wonderful places where you find a lot of people that look like us. But you have to have these interactions. You got to build these relationships with these locations and these people and these brands that are already here in South Africa. So because we're here full time, we live in Johannesburg full time, and we travel a lot in this country. People think they see everything. I'm like, you see like a tenth of what
Yeah.
we actually do.
Yeah.
But the good part about it is that we build relationships, and people can call us anytime and say, hey, let's have a coffee tomorrow, and we can meet them there and talk about tourism and what they're offering, and they know that we're here. So I think for our case, it really it the reason we're able to do what we do, because we have a lot of people who are participating in the tourism space with us. So it's not just us. People think it's just us, but we have I mean, my email box blows up every day about opportunities for travel. Hey, can we have a meet? Can we talk? Sometimes it's them educating us on something that we didn't know, and vice versa. We're educating it for them to where they're like, oh, so this is how you deal with Americans. Yes, because they generally don't deal with Americans. They usually deal with Europeans and other Africans, and we are a different animal. So when we break it down and they're like, okay, great, then we could do that. And next thing we put it out there, and our people come and they have an amazing time, because they don't realize that we gear that whole situation towards an African American versus, let's say, a person coming from China.
So true. Yesterday, we spoke with an immigration attorney or immigration consultant from IBN, and she was saying that
Yeah.
over the last 5 years, their business has dramatically increased to Americans. Now, she didn't specify like, African Americans versus Asian Americans versus, others, but she did say Americans she's been seeing a lot of. And I remember when I was having my call with Dr. Latasha, she was just like, I was really, I was in Tanzania and I was talking about, yeah, like I just want to experience something that's a little easier. And she was like, I think you're being very polite, but what I'm telling you is
Yes, he did say
that
that.
yes, like there is opportunity to have these creature comforts that you're familiar with while also getting exposed to the beauty of the country, the people and the culture. And you were spot on. What are some of the misconceptions that people have when they're making those phone calls, right? Or what are some of the biggest holdups that they have that you try your best to, you know, communicate through that gets them booking their trip to come to South Africa?
Um, you know, I like that question because you would expect in 2024 for people to have um, an access to, as they say, Beyonce's internet, that they would have more information when it comes to not just Africa, but South Africa as well. And a lot of the questions we get are still the same old questions that your great grandmother would ask. Are there animals running around? People still ask us those questions. People still ask us about the housing, about the roads, about the food. They ask us, is it okay to travel safe? They want to know, are they going to walk down the road and get mugged, or is someone going to rob them? I mean, these are all questions that they still ask to this day, regardless of the fact that I live here. I'm like, I would never move to a country that I wasn't safe in. My husband would never pick up and be like, let's move to a country where you're not going to be safe. So those are some of the questions that we get. So a lot of the misconceptions stem from generational stuff. So as we are trying to undo that, we tell people, look, we live here. It's going to be safe. You're going to have an amazing experience. We provide so much security and so much luxury that you're going to, forget that you're in Africa, quote unquote, because you're going to feel so safe. You're going to feel so comfortable.